Okay, it's time to make some more homemade laundry detergent. It's going to work just like the stuff you buy at the store, and we're talking a lot of money every year you're going to save if you do this. This is what you're going to need. You need a bar of this stuff, Fels Naphtha. It's laundry bar and stain remover. It's going to cost you between $1 and $2 depending if you buy at Walmart or different store. Cheaper at Walmart. You need super washing soda from Arm & Hammer, and it's not very expensive either, just a couple bucks. And of course you need 20 Mule Team from Borax. And then finally, if you want your detergent to smell just like your favorite laundry detergent, you can use this Gain Scent Granules. Works like a charm. Other items you'll want is probably a funnel. You need a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, and also some hot water, lots of time and patience, and some gallon jugs. I use these gallon jugs. You can get them from like Walmart for like $1 or so, and these were designed for filling up water. But they're pretty stout. They're not like milk jugs. These are more solid than that, and they'll hold your detergent. You get a whole gallon in one of these, and it's going to make 5 gallons of detergent, so you're going to want 5 of those bad boys. The first thing you're going to need to do is heat up a gallon of water in a pot. And how do you know it's exactly a gallon? Easily, you just use this. You fill this up, and that'll give you your gallon of water. Once you do that, just go ahead and pour that into your pot over there on the stove. Heat it up, and then you'll be ready to shed the Fels Naphtha soap, which will go in there. You'll basically grate it with a cheese grater and just add it to the water. It's that simple. And then you let it dissolve and mix it all together until it's all dissolved completely. If you don't dissolve it completely, you will have chunks in your laundry detergent. It doesn't really hurt much, but it's better if you make sure that it dissolves. So after this fills up, you're simply going to pour that into your pot. So pour in the 5 gallons into the pot, and while you're doing that, you can think about what it'd be like to be at your local water park and going down the water slide, or maybe just going swimming, or sitting in your backyard with the misters in your air and drinking a cold glass of iced tea or something. And then you're going to turn on to hot. So that's what you do next. You're boiling this water, heating it up. So while you're waiting for the water to heat up, you want to go ahead and get your other items ready. You're going to do a cup of the super washing soda. So you go ahead and do that. So here I have the supersets and the borax all ready to go, measured out 1 cup each. And I'm going to pour those in after the bar soap dissolves in the hot water. The water doesn't have to be boiling, but hot, really hot is good, so that it dissolves well. Put the soap in, put these 2 items in there, and then you're going to let it dissolve for about 5 minutes. So while you're waiting for all that to heat up and get ready to go, you can still get more prep done. What you want to do is you're going to put 3 gallons of water inside of your 5-gallon bucket. And how do you know you got 3 gallons? Once again, you're going to use your handy dandy gallon jug. Just fill it up 3 times and put it in your 5-gallon container, and you'll be ready to go. One more thing done before the big show begins. So I am just pouring the last of the 3 gallons in there, as you can see, and my hot water is just about ready. So I got that done. I'm going to come over to the stove, and as you can see, the hot water is just about ready. And I got the cheese grater ready, and you can make the big side useful, or the little side will cause it to dissolve quicker. And you're basically just going to use like a cheese grater. And this stuff almost looks like cheese, but I wouldn't take a bite out of it. Just grate it in there. So there you go. You can't really grate it all the way down unless you want to grate your fingers off. And it's sort of an arthritic nightmare for me to go back and forth like that. But fortunately, we're only doing this once or twice a year. And so it's not too bad. It's worth it. So about 5 minutes of work there. And as you can see, it's not cheese, but it sure looks like it. So, basically what you're going to do is just stir that bad boy up. And you just stir it up till it dissolves. And then you're going to pour in your 1 cup of borax and 1 cup of super washing soap. And let that all dissolve. It's going to take you about 3 to 5 minutes. As you pour this, the powders in, it is going to do some foaming. So don't freak out. It's going to foam a little bit as you stir it up and try to get it all nice and dissolved. So let it dissolve. Give it a good 3 minutes here for that to dissolve completely. Okay, so once it's dissolved pretty good, the next thing is, it's pretty fragrant the way it is because of the Fels naphtha soap. Really gives it some smell. But my wife really likes it very fragrant. She wants it to be just like regular detergent. So this is where you're going to put the Gain in there. And you can put in as little as much as you want. But she likes smell, so I'm putting the whole thing in there. And you're going to have to stir that. You want to make sure that those dissolve. And it's going to kind of create a weird chemical reaction. It's going to make it more jelly-like. If you don't use the Gain or similar products, your laundry soap will actually hold together a little bit better. When you put this in there, it will cause it to separate more when it sits for a while. But it doesn't make any difference because when you're using the soap, you'll probably want to shake the bottle up anyways and just get it, all recombined together, and then you measure it and you put it in your laundry machine. So actually, it's really no big deal. It looks kind of weird, but it's perfectly fine, and it cleans your clothing really well, and your clothes come out smelling really awesome. That clean, fresh smell. Okay, so now that it's all dissolved, you want to make sure you're responsible, and you turn off the heat, and you're basically just going to take this, and I put it in the sink, just in case there's overspill, and I'm just going to pour it in here and stir it up. And this is where patience come in. After you stir this up, you want to put it on your counter, maybe cover it with a towel or something so nothing flies in there. And then you're going to sit and wait for 4 to 5 hours. That's right, folks. We're talking 4 to 5 hours. Let it sit there. It'll start to gel. And that's all you got to do. You got to wait for that much time. And then after you've waited, we're going to stir it all up and let it sit overnight. In the morning, you'll stir it up one more time, and you're going to add it to your 1 gallon jugs. So this is what it looks like after you pour it in there, and you're going to have to stir this up. And I don't have a spoon that's big enough for a 5 gallon, so what I use is this hamburger flipper, and I just set it in there and just make sure I stir it all up. Okay, so here is that exciting moment. It's been about 4 hours. We're going to take this off, and you can see it's more of a thicker, not quite jelly, but, and so we're just going to stir it with your hamburger flipper. Stir it all up real good. And if patience is hard for you, you're going to struggle, because what I'm going to do is leave this for another 8 hours. You can, wait 8 hours and hit it, or you can just put it to bed, and in the morning, you're making waffles. So we're going to just set it overnight, and in the morning it's going to be like thick gelatin type texture, and we'll take a look at that when we get to there. Okay, it's been 8 hours, and so we're going to remove the cover to reveal what we got here. And as you can see, it's solidified quite a bit. It's a sort of like a gelatin kind of thing, but one note: if you don't use the Gain granules, it will be a lot more gelatin-like at this point. But because we use the Gain, it is less. So you want to put in your flipper, something to stir with. Stir it up real good so it's all mixed together, because this is basically what's going to happen. It's going to separate when it's in your jugs all the time. So remember, all you're going to do is just shake up your jug before you pour your detergent into a cup to measure. So you just stir it up real good, so that way when we pour it into our containers, it will be consistent. Okay, so we stirred that up real good, and now remember the items that we're going to need. You're going to want a funnel, and probably something like this, because this is heavy when you start off with, so it'd be easier to dip this in there and use the funnel to get it in your container. And honestly, it's probably a two-person job, although I've done it by myself. Containers you can use, ideas again, the 1 gallon water jugs are stout, and they work really good. You just wash them. You can use them by hand. You can use them over and over again. Or if you prefer smaller, you can convert these. These are those juice containers. They're half gallons, and finally, you can just use a used one of these. And I got some Gain container here. It's empty, and make note that this is a large one, and it's 1.17 gallons. So this container is going to hold a little bit more than the other. So, but I do need a total of 5 gallons. So I got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, and these 2 guys is 5. So let's get ready to start pouring. Okay, I'm going to, this is a little bit more difficult because I'm doing this all by myself with the camera. So I'm going to fill this up and I'm going to pour in, and you can see I'm not doing very good here with one hand. But you get the idea. I'm going to fill that up, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second when we got them all filled. And here they are, all filled up and ready to go. And that's it. Homemade laundry detergent. Probably cost me $15 to $20 for an entire year supplies. You're only going to be paying for another bar of that soap in order to make this each time, because you're still going to have plenty of the borax and the other supersed stuff. So you're just going to use a little bit of that each time, and the borax. And the scent granules obviously raise the price, but if you don't want to use those, that makes it even cheaper. But overall, we have a large family. We're going through this stuff like probably a gallon a month at $15 to $20 a gallon. I mean, that's like a lot of money, a couple $100 a year. So when you shut that $200 down to about $20 for the entire year, that's big savings. It's a little bit of work every like 4 to 6 months, but it is completely worth it. And your clothes are going to smell great. You're going to love everything about it. Here it is, homemade laundry detergent. Now be sure and check out my other videos, Cats Meow, and the 19 touchdowns by my 8-year-old son, and be sure and tune in to Relevant Life Radio at relevantradio.tv. Today's top 40 variety Christian music.